Good morning, everybody. It's me, your boy G. Got another prison story for you today. I went to Saguaro Prison this week. I was there 2 days, and some things happened that I wanted to share with you. I shared one yesterday about the mother who saw her son. Today is about this guy who was probably the most violent person I've ever seen in a prison. I've been in over 50 prisons across the country, and I've seen television shows about these sections of a prison that they send all the hardest and the most dangerous inmates, and it's called lockdown or ADSEG or the shoe or the hole, whatever. They separate them from everybody else because they're just not, they don't get along with nobody. These are the bad boys of the bad boys. So they take us to those guys when they can't come to the show. When we do a show in a prison, they can't go to the show, so we go to them. Sometimes they'll let us go into them. Whether it's death row, they'll let us go into death row, but we have to do a cell to cell. And what we do is we talk to the guys in there and pray with them, whatever they want to talk about or whatever they want to pray about. But we just want to spend time with them, right? Because they never get nobody to see them. So this particular case, they took us to in Saguaro Prison. They took us. It's all Hawaiian inmates, by the way. They housed them there because it's cheaper to house them on the mainland and feed them than to feed them in Hawaii because it's too expensive to ship the food. So a lot of these guys don't see their family never see their families while they're in there. But this particular time, it was this Wednesday. They took us to this one called Kilo, and he said, okay, now when we take you to these guys, if they start getting violent, because we don't know what they'll do. So if they start getting violent or start acting crazy, just back away and let us go in and do our thing. So everybody was under we all got instructions. And then he said, there's the cell number 1 and number 2. We won't be able to go there because those two guys are too violent. They're too crazy. They're just not. We can't even go there. So we went in, and sure enough, it was those two cells. But one of the cells, the cell number 1, had an officer sitting in front of the window, and the windows are only this big, enough for your face to fit in. And his face was in that window the whole time, 8-hour shift that he had. And then he was sitting on 5 or 6 chairs to get him eye level to the thing and be comfortable. And he had all his little knickknacks and snacks or whatever he's going to need because he can't get up from there. Everything's got to be right there. They had set up a little station for him directly in front of this guy's door. I've never seen that, ever. Even in the Silence of the Lambs with Hannibal Lecter, they didn't do that to him, remember? They also, and there was another guy in Alabama that I had seen, they separated him from the whole prison. From the guys that were in ADSEG, they were on this side, and they had him on the other side, all by himself. All those cells, there was only him on that side, a Mexican guy, and he only spoke Spanish. And they took me to talk to him, and that's another story. However, I'm trying to show the seriousness of how serious this was. When that officer, when they have 3 shifts, they keep an eye on this guy. The guy was in there, apparently, from what I heard from the other people, because there was he killed another guy, his cellmate or something, his best friend, in prison, because the guy just said something negative about a girl. That was it. That's all it took for that man to lose his life. Allegedly. This is alleged, of course, but that's what he's in there. He's in there in that cell, and he's fighting another homicide that he got in there. So when I was going down, I was talking to these other guys, and it was a trip because all they wanted was prayer. That's all they wanted. Prayer. Pray for me, please. Pray for me. Because when you talk to those guys, you can't talk to them. You have to speak through the crack in the door between the door and the sill, the door sill. And you got to speak to that little crack, and you listen like that. You speak and you listen, and then you can see them over here where they're at. But all they wanted, all of them, that's all they wanted was prayer. So I was praying, and then I turned to the left, and I saw that these people were like the Katinas. The Katinas, it's a gospel group, them and some other volunteers that went. They were praying in front of that guy's door. That one, door number 1, around that, they were praying right there around that door. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I guess, I don't know if they were talking to him or what, but they were praying for him. I know that because they were all held in hands. And I'm like, cool. Anyway, so I'm over here, and these guys are, hey, can you go over here and talk to my friend and pray for him, please? And all this stuff. Like, this guy was making sure that I went over to his cellie, who was also in trouble in another cell, though, to talk to him and pray for him, but what we were talking about. So anyways, when I got done, they were rushing us out, and I went out there, and I got a glimpse out of curiosity. I wanted to look at that monster that they were talking about, and I looked over there, and so happened that the officer moved, and I got to see him. And I saw him. I'm like, hey, what's up, my boy? Like that. And he looked at me, like, hey, he's all like, hi, like that. And I go like, hey, I started beating my chest, like, what's happening, man? And he's all like, hey, he's waving a little rag around like this. And the warden's like, he's like, I haven't seen him that sociable in over 3 months. I was like, you don't know what these guys, they just prayed for him. I mean, you know what I mean? These people were praying for him. Whatever they did, whatever that prayer broke that man down for just that little second. That man had joy and he was happy, this monster. And I left. I didn't see a monster. I just saw a guy, hey, Hawaiian dude, man. Just a regular, typical looking Hawaiian dude. You know what I mean? Like, older guy, you know, stocky, you know, short, stocky. But he looked mean. He did. But he didn't look mean when he was laughing and smiling. He was all happy, man. And I was like, man, prayer is powerful. And that's all those guys. Maybe that's all he wanted. That's all he needed. Prayer. Yeah, prayer is a monster, bro. Prayer is the real monster. I'm telling you, the most powerful people I know, and I know a lot of people in high places. I've sat next to ABC executives. I've worked with the most powerful. I've worked with billionaires who invited me out to eat. You know what I mean? I've dealt with some power. But the most powerful people I know are the ones that pray. The ones that are on your knees. That's the most powerful position a man can have, is bowed down before his God and making his requests, pleading his causes, praying for his family. Prayer is powerful, man. I'm telling you, I'm a result of people praying for me. I'm the hardest head you've ever seen. I mean, I'm a hard-headed dude. But these little old ladies that have been praying for me, homie, and these other women, not so old too, young men, guys, prisoners that pray for me, man, it's changed me. Prayer's a trip, man. If you get locked on to somebody who knows prayer, you better treat them like royalty, man. Treat them like royalty. Because those are the ones that can change your life. Their prayers. Think about that. God bless you guys. Have a great day and ask God to send you somebody in your life that knows how to pray and who believes in prayer, because we all need that guy, that woman in our lives. And a lot of times it's our mama, our grandmas, whoever it is, call them up, thank them. Thank them, bro. That's all. God bless. Have a great day.